Hello, I'm Elaine Kuzmeskus, a professional astrologer accredited by the American Federation of Astrologers. And today I'm going to talk about the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign, practical. It's a cardinal sign which has leadership. And people born between December 22nd and January 19th are born under the sign of Capricorn. Now, the symbol of Capricorn is the sea goat. The goat takes two steps forward, one back, two forward, and slowly makes his ascent. Both female and male Capricorns are very ambitious. They're very hardworking and take life a bit seriously. They love to schedule things around work and may often make work as a vacation. They take working vacations. However, the one thing that Capricorns do have to learn is to relax. They need to learn to worry less. And believe me, it's easier said than done. But Capricorns can fret over details. They can worry to the point where they don't get enough sleep. And they can often make demands on themselves and others, which can create problems in relationships. So, like their symbol, the sea goat, they have to learn to be patient and to be a bit more flexible. They succeed in life because of focused energy, and Capricorns are the type that they will continue working until the job is done. Now, often Capricorns live up to their motto, I use, meaning I utilize. They're thrifty, they like to recycle and repurpose. Nothing wrong with that. And also, Capricorns may seem to grow younger, not older, because that serious Capricorn will eventually progress into the more friendly sign of Aquarius. So they have a youthful appearance. Well, here are some very famous Capricorn females, many of whom are known for their high cheekbones, their slender builds, and their beautiful smiles. I think of Mary Tyler Moore as being a beautiful Capricorn woman, and she's eternally youthful. Diane Sawyer shows the beauty of Capricorn, and also Marlene Dietrich shows the international beauty of Capricorn. And she was a very hard worker, working well into her 70s as an actress. We also have Joan Baez, and Joan Baez shows the serious reform aspect of Capricorn, as she was a protester with her folk songs in the 60s and 70s. Janis Joplin does not seem like your typical Capricorn, but underneath her smile and her boozy appearance, there was a serious, sensitive part of her that did want very much to achieve in life. We also have Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton has the Capricorn hard work ethic, and she is working it well into her 70s, and she's expanded her empire to Dollywood, and generous as can be, often giving to causes and showing her concern for those who are less fortunate than herself. Now, we have noted Capricorn males, and one of my favorites is Bradley Cooper. He's so versatile, he takes his acting very seriously. Nicolas Cage and Denzel Washington. Now, in terms of Capricorn presidents, Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson was a college professor before he became a president. Very well educated, very serious, and he very much wanted to support the League of Nations, which was a forerunner to the United Nations. Unfortunately, because he did work so hard, he worked himself into a stroke, so his last days in the White House were not his best, but a very fine gentleman. Edgar Hoover is a typical Capricorn. Capricorns can keep a secret and they know everyone's business, but they don't want others to know their business. We also have Albert Schweitzer, which shows the strong desire to help others. And Martin Luther King was a Capricorn, and he had a certain patience to him, a certain desire to help his fellow man, including African Americans, children, and regardless of how people were reacting to civil rights, he had a calm, positive exterior. He was like a father figure to many in our nation. And then we also have my favorite Capricorn, Paramahansa Yogananda. He came to the United States in the 1920s to teach Americans meditation. And I still refer people to his book, written in 1946 and still in print, Autobiography of a Yogi, which tells his story of being a yogi in the United States in the 1920s, 30s, up until his death in the 1950s. So we have many, many examples of Capricorn. And Capricorn is just one aspect of a person's chart, the sun in Capricorn, but there are many different aspects. So I'm going to talk about a Capricorn that was very complex. Our Capricorn of the month, John Denver, was born on December 31st, 1943 at 3:55 p.m. in Roswell, New Mexico. He was born into a military family. His father was a pilot, and he started his music very early on and was very much involved with the folk songs. And he started as a writer. He wrote songs for Peter, Paul, and Mary. And his first hit was a great song, I'm Leaving on a Jet Plane. And years ago, I was watching a late night television program, and Peter, Paul, and Mary were singing, I'm Leaving on a Jet Plane. And for some reason, Johnny Carson said, well, why don't we have the songwriter come out? Out came a very shy John Denver, clearly not ready for the public at this time. But there was something about him, so boyish, so genuinely kind, that I just knew he was going to be a big star. And he was. Now, he went on to record about 200 songs. The most famous, Annie's Song, as well as Country Roads, Take Me Home, and Sunshine on My Shoulder are classic hits that we hear perennially. He was born under Capricorn, a sign known for hard work, but he was not a typical Capricorn. His moon was in the gentle, kind sign of Pisces, sensitive, caring. And there was another side of John Denver that was a bit quiet that people may not know about. He was a humanitarian. He funded a lot of the work in Finhorn in Scotland, which is a community dedicated to the divas and using the energy of the divas and angels to grow wonderful crops. He also was very interested in experimental aircraft, primarily because his father was a pilot, and he was ambitious by nature. He worked hard, and his hard work paid off. He had so many hit records. I went to a John Denver concert once, and I was touched by his kindness. He did something rather unusual. In the middle of the concert, when the band took their break, which is required by contract, he went on singing. And at the end of the concert, he gave every lady in the audience a rose. That was a beautiful touch. It was genuine. And I think it was his way of saying, I appreciate you coming. Thank you for coming. His moon in Pisces is in the 10th house. The 10th house is the house of career. And the moon has to do with the public. So if you have your moon in the 1st, 10th, or 7th house, this is very good for working before the public. And I think he enjoyed that. I think he enjoyed being on the road. However, the moon was not well aspected. It made a square to the reclusive planet Saturn. That's why he was so shy. It also indicated that he had times when he could be depressed, or as we say, down in the moccasins, because he was so sensitive. And I think being on the road required a lot of physical energy, mental stamina, and took him away from his beloved Annie and his two children, Kate and Zachary. And as a result of that, he did have a drinking problem, which he talks about publicly. He also had Mars conjunct Uranus, and Mars is your motor, and Uranus is what we call the accelerator. He had to be on the go. An interesting fact about John Denver is he and Annie were married for several years and unable to have children, so they adopted two, Kate and Zachary. And unfortunately, the marriage failed, and primarily because he was on the road so much and his drinking. But you know what? He got a chance to marry again, a very beautiful woman. And surprise and behold, John Denver, who was told that he was sterile, his new bride became pregnant, and he just couldn't believe it. They ended up in court and divorced. However, he was in for an even bigger surprise because the DNA test showed that his daughter Jessie was indeed his child. and he just doted on Jessie, just loved her to pieces. And he took his 8-year-old daughter, Jessie, to Disney World for the day. So he had a wonderful day the last day he was on Earth. And he was so excited and buoyed and happy about everything, he just decided to stop by the airport. He was the son of a U.S. Air Force officer, and he knew all about planes and domestic travel. And he decided, well, I'm here, I might as well test it out. Anyone who knows about experimental aircraft knows they can be very tricky, and they should be tested by an expert engineer with a parachute, which didn't happen. And unfortunately, it did cost John Denver his life. But at least his last day on Earth was a happy day, and he left us a wonderful legacy of music. I love to share my knowledge of astrology. If you'd like to learn more, please go to my astrology blog, posted every month, on the art of mediumship, and my YouTube channel, Soul Cycles. I wish you a very happy January and a prosperous and abundant 2025.